Hi guys, my name is Siddhansh. Welcome to the third tutorial on Omnycomm. In this video, I will be deep diving on the product catalog feature. So let's jump right in. Um, when we speak about the products here specifically, I'm talking about all the inventory that we have that we sell are listed here. And before I go on to speak more about how it works, what is the objective, what are the different features, and how it functions, I want to speak about how important this is to us. Information that we have about products is sensitive to the company. Secondly, this information is used by different departments for different reasons. For example, the graphics team uses it for enhancing the images about the product. So whenever they feel that a product lacks images to to have the sort of quality from a sales standpoint, then they go about with either editing images or maybe adding images. Whereas a salesperson is using this information in order to show the product to the customers and tell them more about its features and the kind of description it has, and how they can go about with selling it. So different departments are using product information for different reasons, which is why it comes down to the fact that we maintain a certain standard and ensure that our information is healthy. So in order to achieve this standard, I will be showing you first and foremost the logic of how products are added to the platform, and then what sort of information you should add every single time you create a product so that everybody in the organization benefits from it. There's a big shout out to the sourcing team, which is sourcing products, and the initial adding of information, or rather the source of truth for product information, comes from the sourcing team itself. So it's essential that everyone from that team or the team that is managing the products that we source are doing a good job with adding products to the platform. So let's start first with familiarizing ourselves with the UI. On the left hand side, we have the navigation panel and it says products. When you click on products, this particular section will open up. And you can see that there are results of 1,648 which are showing, which is basically the list of all the products that we can see at this point of time. As you start scrolling down, you will see load more, in which case we will fetch another 15 or 20 products for you to see. Then we have the filter option. In the filter option, there are two types of filters. One is you can filter by brand. In this case, I can only see GPass. But if I have access to more brands, then it'll show me other brands in the company as well, like Royal Ford, Olsen Mark, Del Casa. Then we have all images section, where you can decide to filter images by with images or without images. So you'll only see products with images, and you can also decide to see without images as well. Now, this is mostly done from a content standpoint. We want to ensure that the information is healthy, which is why we've created this filter. If you feel that there's a need to add any other type of filter, then you can always write to us by clicking on the help section. Write to us, let us know what you need, and we will be able to take the request forward. That applies to any sort of feature that you think we should add as well. Then we have the search bar, where you can search by the name of the product, where you can like type anything practically, and it'll search on the basis of that. But there are four main criteria. One is you can type something which is part of the product title, in which case it will be able to query the results accordingly. You can type the ID of the product or the SKU of the product, or just the category itself, in which case it'll be able to filter accordingly. So let me show you a few options that you can try. So if I want to say a filter for this product, then I can type the SKU or the product ID. In this case, I can only see the ID in front of me, so I'm going to type that. And by doing this, I've managed to filter by this single product. I can add other chips as well. So for example, if I'm searching for fans and flask at the same time, I can add another chip, in which case it'll show me flask and fans. And if I load more, you'll be able to see more fans and more flasks accordingly. So you can add multiple chips here, in which case you can add multiple IDs, multiple SKUs, multiple product names, so on and so forth. Then we have add new product, in which case you can go about with creation of a product, and we'll come to this in just a bit. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is I'm going to explain what each column here implies and how exactly it works for us. Um, so first thing is images. Now there are product images that you see here. We have thumbnails. So you can see either a single thumbnail or you can see multiple thumbnails that appear here. Now I'll tell you the distinction between both of them. But if you might have already guessed, one is for a bundled product listing and the other one is for a single listing. And we'll come to that in a second. Then we have product ID, so the name of the product and its identification, the brand it belongs to. Domain is nothing but the category or subcategory. So we have hand mixer and stand mixer. Please ignore this dummy data that we have created. This is part of the test link, but if you scroll down, you can actually see what category and subcategory it belongs to. The next thing that we have is the stock, and you can see the stock based on the different warehouse that you've selected. So it says GPAS-UAE Jafsa. So that is the warehouse that we've selected. So you can see the stock, and then there's EXEA is external price, which is the price of the product itself. Now, in order to see the stock and price, I can actually show you for an example. So when you click on this, it will show you that there are 1,948 units of this product in our Jafsa warehouse, and this is priced at about 68 dirhams. You can do the same thing across any other product as well, and it will be able to show you the quantity and the price in real time. Now, sometimes we might not have this information based on which it's showing you zero, but if we do, then we're calling it from the SAP. You can also, instead of doing it individually, you can perform a bulk action, in which case, once you hit this button, then all of this is in a loading state, and you will see shortly the information that we're calling from SAP. So while this is loading, I'm going to be showing you information. I'm going to be explaining the other status. Never mind. This is here. So you can see the price and the quantity accordingly for different products that are listed here. So the point is that you have bulk action here, and then you have single action here, which you can see. Then you have channel status. So this basically tells you how many channels is this product currently active on. So active, if this is active on 2 channels, that means that it is part of 2 distribution networks where this product is live. So for example, if it says 2, it could be live on Amazon or Noon. And if it is inactive on one, it could be possibly another channel like Flipkart, where it is currently not active. We're also working on creating a feature that you can click on the button itself and a dialog will open up. This dialog will tell you which channels this particular product is active on. But for the time being, we just give you a count on whether it's active or inactive and how many channels it is active or not on. The next thing that we have is actions. So these actions that you see here, I think this is better for me to explain. So this is part of editing the base product. Then we have adding new variant. We have editing a variant, and then we have adding a channel product. So I'll come to how this works in just a second, but these actions are very important to the generation of a product, or rather the creation of a product or updating a product itself. But before we go into the process of creating a product, let me first discuss on the type of product listings we have. So the first type of listing that you can see here is what we call a bundle listing. Now you will see that there are 4 thumbnails here, whereas there's only a single thumbnail here. What this implies is that this particular product has 1, 2, 3, and +1, which is 4 products inside this. So if I click on it, you will be able to see that there are 4 products which are listed under this. And if the count shows +2 or +3 here, then that means it's 3 + 2, which is 5 total products, which is part of this particular model. Now, for this product itself, there is just a single listing, which is why this does not expand, whereas this expands like this. So there's that sort of difference that we have shown between a single listing and a bundled listing. Now, what is the difference between the two? And this is logic. This is the type of logic, the hierarchy of how we create products is something that you have to understand. So if you look at this, slide that is currently in front of you, what you'll notice is that I've created a product hierarchy. Now, the first thing is, this is every product is a model. Let's call, one flask is just a model. That is the type of product that we are sourcing. But that model has multiple colors. So it could be a blue color, green color, or red color. Okay, so we'll take it by that example itself. We have a flask and we have blue, green, and red variants to it. Now, what you need to know is that by doing this, we have created a parent and child relationship. So if the product has only a single, only a single color, then that means it has only a single variant. If it has multiple colors that it comes in, then it has multiple variants. Now we can have both. Either we can have just one variant or we can have multiple variants. So a parent can be a parent or child, or it can be parent plus children. I'm not sure if you understood this clearly, so I'm going to try and reinforce the statement again. One flask is a model, so we are purchasing a model itself. Now let me try and explain this with an example. This model that you see here, this product, please ignore this product, this product, and this product, they're the same model type, as in they have the same set of specifications, features, the build quality. The only differentiating factor here is how they look, their aesthetic. So this is a aqua color, this is, say, purple in color, and this is pink in color. So the difference here is that this particular model has three variants. And now, when you see channels here, what you need to understand with this particular chart is the fact that I have decided that for the blue product, for the blue and green product, I'm going to be selling it on Amazon, UK, UAE, and Noon. And the green and silver color here imply that for the blue color, the product is active on these channels, which is active, implying that they can be purchased by a customer on the respective platform that you're seeing. Whereas the green product, green flask, which is live on these channels, is currently inactive, as in it is in a dormant state. People are not able to buy this product. And as far as red is concerned, red is a flask. The red flask is the product that we haven't added to any channel whatsoever. So this is just to give you some sort of understanding on how we can decide which variant of a model should go live on which channel. We have complete control on that as well. And this relationship is something that you have to understand. Now this part, which is the channel reference part, is something that you don't need to focus on right now for this tutorial. In the current tutorial, just take into account that a model can have at least one variant, or it can have multiple variants. Okay, so for example, if you're looking at this product, which is the GPass electric hand and stand mixer, this does not come in any other color, so that therefore this is only one product in itself. If this had a different mix, say this is made using plastic and another mixer is made using another material like wood, and I'm just giving an example at this point, that means that this particular model has two variants. But when it only has a single variant, we can only show this as a single product on the platform. Okay, so this only has a single product, it's a single model type, it is not multiple variants. So I think I've elaborated on that relationship as much as I could. So there are two types of listings: bundle listings and single listings. Single listings are those without multiple variants, whereas bundle listings are those products with a model that has multiple variants. The variants could have different material specifications, or they could have color specifications, but they basically have some sort of differentiating factor based on which we recognize that product to be part of the same model but a different build quality. Okay, now let's move forward with understanding with understanding how to view information about the product itself. So I'm going to take a random product by scrolling further, and I'm going to select this product. So the moment I click on it, if you click on a listing, it'll open up like an e-commerce format type product details page. So you can see that this is the product listing, and if you scroll to the right, then you can see images about the product. Okay. And then you have the name of the product, which brand it belongs to, whether this product is in stock or not. This is coming from our SAP. We have the price of the product, the description about the product. You can like hit read more and view more information about it. Then we have features about the product, which are showing in this wrapped manner. And then we have by warehouse, you can see the different rates and the quantity of the product itself. We also have another feature where you can see by channel what is the old price, what is the price we're selling at, how much discount we're giving. Forgive the spelling, please. We have corrected this in the new version. Then we have the stock and the revenue as well. So all of this information is there in a single glance once you go inside the details page. And now the next thing that you have to know is that the information that you see here is not something that everyone will have access to. It depends on what the management decides. So you will be able to see certain information only on the platform. You also need to know that this is responsive to your mobile phones as well. So if I am changing this into, I can show you what I'm showing you is basically a different view of the product. So in this manner, you can actually see in a mobile optimized way, which basically means that on your cell phones, you will be able to see the product listing in this manner. So the two screens, which is basically the product screen and the product details screen, they are in they're optimized for your cell phones as well. So if you're going to your customer and showing them the product on the platform, then you can show it to them on the phone itself. You can click on the product and it will open up the listing. I'm sorry, I think there might be a problem here. We will fix this quick immediately. But yeah, every single product listing and its detail page is optimized for the cell phone. Okay, the next thing that we have to know is how do we go about with adding this information? While I've shown you what product information looks like, I haven't told you how to go about with adding this information. So the next thing that we're going to check into is how are we going to create this product listing. So the simplest way to go about with this is click on this add new product, in which case you will be first asked to fill in base product information. So what base product is, the base product basically implies information about the model itself. So the model is the base product. Now, this is the model that we're sourcing. That, as if you remember the chart that I was talking about, if you're getting some, for example, a flask, we're adding the information about the flask and not its build quality or what makes it different based on how we would recognize it later. So what you need to know is add the information about the base product here, which is, let's call it product. And actually, I'm just going to go about with creating a real product in this case. So Flask test product. And then I'm going to add an SKU. So I'm going to give it a random ID. And then I'm going to fill the manufacturer part number. Then you have to select the brand. Now, these parts where you see the red star will imply the fact that this is mandatory information that you have to fill. And you have to also add the category and subcategory, which is really important. So we're going to go with flask and vacuum flask. Then we have to add the dimensions about the product. Now, this is really important because we give these specifications when we are selling it online or even offline for that matter. So let's just add a few dimensions for the sake of adding them. This way you can add for all of it. So we have export carton, quantity, CBM, dimensions, gift box, all of that. Then the next thing that we have is the main image that we have to add for the product itself. So I'm going to add an image to the product. And by doing this, I've added one main image. You can add multiple images as well. So like just for example, I'm going to add sub images. So now we have added sub images. So if you go to main image or if you go to sub images, you can see that the products are listed here. Now, every product has at least one variant, right? So we're going to be adding the variant. Now I'm going to, just for the clarity of information that I'm going to file here, I'm going to remove all of this. And by the way, you can go about with removing or viewing this information based on your access. Sorry, let's try this one more time. We'll have to save it and then we can view it. I'm sorry about this. You will be able to see the viewing option once we have saved the product, because this has to be first registered as an image in our server. So moving forward, a variant is where you will be able to add the variant of the product. So let's call it, this is a, let's go to main image. It's a blue flask. So we're going to call it blue flask. And we're going to give it an ID. So let's give it an ID. And we'll give it a ID type. So there are multiple ID types. Just select the one that applies to you. I think this is part of the information where you know how to go about with filing it. Then we add a barcode. And in this case, we will automatically generate a barcode based on the number that we have given. Then we're going to add factory code. Now the next part is attributes. Now this color is, it's blue, and we have color map. Actually, let's call it aqua blue. And this is part of the blue color mapping. And as far as the material type is concerned, let's write steel, and the minimum order quantity for this product is about 90. So MOQ is basically that if we have to source this product again, the minimum amount that we have to source is 90. Minimum quantity that we have to source is about 90. Then you can add factory notes. So add factory notes here. This is something that the sourcing team can leave behind for the next set of content managers who will be working with this information, then transforming it for their respective reasons. Then we have features. So let's go about with adding features. I have made a list here. Here. So let's go with adding features. It's feature 1, and then feature 2. And then we have feature 3. I'm going to only add 3, and I don't need the other 2 for the time being. And then I'm going to add product description. So there we go. And I'll hit save. Now, the moment I've done this, it's redirected me to, it's saved all this information, and it's redirected me again. So the system will do this. Do not panic. All your information is saved. Now, this part of the information becomes uneditable because you've added information about the base, and we wanted to ensure that only we don't affect the crux of the product, or rather the model itself, because that information is critical. Whereas as far as the variant is concerned, you can still go about with editing that. And I think if you go on main images and click the view button, then you can actually view it this time, which wasn't possible before, if you remember. So the same thing is possible for sub. You can click on the view button and it will show you the actual image itself. Right. So we've created the product this way. Now, if I open up the platform here and I go to this particular, if I click on products again, you will see that the product that I just created, Blue Flask, which is this particular variant, this product has been added here. So now we have the flask, vacuum flask, we can see, and this is the brand. And if this is if this product has been sourced correctly, and the product ID is correct, if you hit the refresh button, it'll actually show you the quantity and price as well, because it's connected to the SAP. So in this manner, you can go about with adding a product. Now, if I want to create a bundled listing, which is that I know that this particular flask has it comes in like pink color and it comes in purple color as well. Now to go about with adding a variant to this particular model, I have to go on this icon. If you hover over it, it'll say add new variant. So when you click on it, you can add another variant. So this base information will not change. It is part of the flask, which is the test product that we'd made. And this SKU, manufacturing part number, which brand it belongs to, none of this changes. The only thing that changes here is the fact that this form has to be entered again. So what we're going to do is add now, say, a pink variant. And then we're going to call it pink flask. And we're going to add another ID to it. So every variant has its own unique ID. So we're going to give it another ID, and we're going to give it a barcode, and then we're going to add factory code again. And this time we're going to call it baby pink, and it's part of the pink color type. The material will be steel, MOQ would be 90. We can add factory notes, and we can add the same set of features. So let's do that. For the time being, I'm just going to add some dummy information because we've already gone through this process, and then add product description for the pink flask. Now, when I save this, what's going to happen is it's going to reload. All your information is here. Now, by default, it goes back to unedited images, but you can always like move to main images or sub images. The reason it goes to unedited images is because the sourcing team is usually adding unedited images the first time, which is why it's going back to it. If you still have doubts on this, then you can let me know accordingly. But the objective is that we add images correctly. And there are multiple image buckets, which is something that I forgot to explain. But you have main image, sub image, PFL generated, white background images, lifestyle images. All of these are the different image types which you have to add accordingly. So you have to select the right bucket, like go to sub images if you're adding a sub image. If you are adding a PFL, go to PFL images and upload it accordingly. So select the right folder and then add the image accordingly. Okay, so coming back to the products page, if you come here, now you'll see that the single listing that we initially had has become now a bundled listing, as you can see. Now we have these two products that are being shown here. And it's now showing me base information first, and not before. It was blue flask. I wish I could show you the old variant, but before it was showing blue flask, but now it's showing me flask underscore test product. The reason that it's showing me this is because it's the base product that we have here. This is the base product information. So it's showing me by its parent. It's telling me that, look, this is the model. And if you click inside it, then you can see the variants under it. So you can see pink flask and blue flask. And most of this information remains the same. Now, if you go on Blue Flask and you click on it, then you will be able to see the information that we had added. Remember the features that we had put? So these are the features that we have added. It's showing out of stock and the price being 0 because it's not connected to SAP in any way, and the same information will be reflected here as well. We also added a sub image for this, which is why it's showing the other variant, not other variant, but the sub image for this particular product. If you go on the pink flask and you click on it, then you'll be able to see the same thing, feature 1, 2, 3, and the different information. Now, I think the only missing information that I've identified is the fact that the product description that we added isn't here. And I will ensure that while the information is still with us, if you go to the form page, it's not showing here, and we'll get that fixed as well. Okay, so in this way, we've added the bundle product and we've created a single product as well. So that should pretty much conclude on how we go about with creating a product. Now, if you want to, edit the base product information, then all I have to do is, it says on this particular icon, edit base product. So when I click on this, I can edit at the base level. Now, this is something that many people might not have access to it. Depends on the user, and if you do have access to it, you'll probably know. I can change this to like edit Flask. Sorry, I can edit this product name, call it Flask, and instead of the test, we'll just call it product. And I'm gonna add some more information here, but none of this will really reflect, so it's okay. Um, I mean, none of this will reflect on the products page is what I meant. But you can add some more information. You can maybe change the ID type, and let's see, let's change this to that. And yeah, we have the brand name and the manufacturer. And remember the fact that we changed the SKU ID and we changed the product name. And we can change this from vacuum flask to steel flask. And the moment you hit save and go back to the products page, you'll be able to see that the product reflects the changes. See, flask underscore product bracket 2, and the SKU is also changed. So I've changed the information at the base level here. Now, if I want to change information about this product at its variant level, I first have to open it up like this and click on edit variant. If the product doesn't have any variant whatsoever, it's not a bundle listing and it's a single listing, then you will see this option at this level itself in a single listing, and you click on the same button, in which case you can go about with editing information about the product. So let's just go to all images. So you'll recognize that, see, we have this is the product that we're in. It's an air conditioner which is in the test state, and you can't edit this information. You see the stop sign that is coming because we're editing only at the variant level and not at the base level. So we're going to change the name to AC and we're going to call it US. And let's change the ID to something else. We're going to call it, it's ASIN number. So let's just save it. Now, if I go back to the products page, for the single variant, you will be able to see that we changed it from UK to US and the ID has changed as well. So this is what we're doing at a single listing level. So what I did to change this information was click on the edit variant, and I was able to edit the variant information. If I want to edit base information, I click on this icon, in which case it'll take me to the base part of the information, and I can change that as well. Now, for the other listing, which is the bundle listing that I'd shown you, let me just close these tabs. We were at Flask product 2 and we were at Pink Flask. So if I just go back, I'd basically gone here and clicked on this button, and it took me to the same page that I was just at. So right here, right? So it's brought me back to the Flask, brought me back to this page where I can see the Pink Flask. This part is uneditable. Now Pink Flask, let's change the name to Baby Pink Flask. And you can add some more information. You can add some images. So let's add some sub images to it. And we can hit save. The moment that is done, if I reload here, it's going to show me Baby Pink Flask. So what we have covered right now is editing information at the base level, which is at the model level. Then if you want to edit information at the variant level, which is you want to make edits to this particular product, the variant itself, then you click on this button, which is edit variant. If you want to add another variant, say now I want to add a green flask. So to do that, you see this particular ad, you see this button. When you click on add new variant, it'll open up a form for you just like this. So your base product remains the same, whereas for the variant, you have to add the information again. So if I want to add another green flask, then I can do it here itself. And yeah, so for this is for a single listing. We have the icons are the same, they don't change whatsoever. Now the only icon that I haven't explained is select channel, or rather add channel product. This is something that we will cover in the next tutorial video. I will be teaching you on how, if I want to make this if I want to sell this product on Noon or Amazon UK, then how do I go about with doing that? So we will cover that in the next tutorial video. This is a fairly elaborate one. If you have any doubts whatsoever, then I would say first just rewind a little bit and maybe try watching it one more time. It might make more sense to you. If you still feel that there are doubts that you have, then just get in touch with me directly, and I will take you through the tutorial myself so that you can understand it clearly. We'll have a Q&A session on this as well once I've onboarded all of you, so that we can have I can answer your queries. But for the time being, yeah, this is how we go about with adding information, product information, to the platform. And I would really appreciate that for each and every detail that we have added to the form, we have made the form in such a way where you ensure that you add this information because it makes the product healthy and it can be used by everyone, and everyone benefits in the organization if the product information is healthy. So that concludes this video. Thank you for joining me this time and being patient through this elaborate session. Um, I'll see you in the next video where I explain how you create channel-wise products. Adios, guys.